Hi, I'm Abby, and I'm making another video. This video, I want to talk about perception and how perception is based on emotion. You can perceive what you see, and what you see then creates the response. You can respond through fear, or you can respond through love. And when I think about perception, I think about there being two forms of perception. There's being our physical eyes that see. And what we see is then translated into how we feel about things. Sometimes you can use your heart as your eyes and let your heart determine what the response needs to be. That would be using your intuition, when you follow the sight that is in your heart. And then there is what is spiritual, to have eyes that are spiritual, that see above the physical body, that can see beyond. When you are in a spirit form, do you have eyes that are right here as a spirit? No. Your whole body as a soul is your eye. You see everything. You see an infinite existence. Souls don't have eyeballs. They can have a form that looks like something we could relate to. We can have a form that looks like a human being. It could look like an alien being. It can look like an animal. But as a spirit, they see all things. They are a connection to oneness. Oneness of all. And when I say oneness of all, I'm saying all physical and all spiritual. Their perception is one eye. That is their entire energy. They are just a light and airy energy that is one eyeball that perceives and is aware of all things in creation. Entirely infinite, a soul is. Souls are a reflection of they're literally. This is going to be hard to say, because I'm always careful about trying to explain these things correctly. But you're never going to get it quite right. You know, in this reality that we live in as human beings, we literally are like goldfish in our comprehension of an infinite universe. Ask a goldfish what it comprehends about its infinite universe. It won't remember what it was doing yesterday. I mean, human beings are very much this way too. Literally, what were you doing 2 weeks ago? Could you possibly tell me what you were doing 2 weeks ago? It's hard to keep up, especially when after you have kids. Literally, I think everybody who has kids suddenly realizes they can't remember things as easily as they used to, because you just don't have time. There's just so much stuff that has to be done, and there's so many things to keep up with all the time, and it's just a balancing act. But memory just stops being so important once you have kids. But this is just a perspective of what a human being is. And when we try to talk about how we know things, we know this much. We know really very little about an infinite universe. So how do you try to be the most wise? How do you try to become the most truthful, most honest voice in this world? How do you use perception? Your senses. How do you correctly perceive what you should do in every scenario? I'm not even sure why I'm inspired to talk about this right now. Just because my life is so full of it's hard to understand everything that takes place in my life, and why do I choose to try to make sense of something or not to make sense of it. And I have this over many years, so I'm 32, and my whole life has literally been an exploration of what doesn't make sense to most people. Is what my reality is. So I interact with the spirit world. I sense things even if I can't make sense of what it is that I'm exactly sensing. So I'm constantly trying to make sense of a perception that has no eyes at all. How do I perceive a spirit world that I can't see with my eyes? Then you start to learn that you have an invisible eye that exists here, and people call it their imagination. This is where your imagination is. And it's not, there are levels to your imagination. One level is seeing the infinite universe. One level is actually exploring what is a dimension, a fantasy world, creating your own dream. It's literally like you can manifest your own physical reality through your dreams. You actually can enter into your own fantasy world and manifest your own dreams into a physical reality. People just call this the imagination. It's not. It develops us. It helps us understand and perceive things with more clarity. You have to play pretend sometimes and see how all of your thoughts and how all of your feelings interact with the scenes that play out in your creation, in your fantasy world, to try to make sense of what feels right. You create a scenario, and then you allow the scenario to actually come to life in your mind and play out based on different factors. So you start testing what your actual biological reaction is to things, and what you feel is the most moral, ethical, what feels correct in your heart. What is the most correct, what is the most honest feeling that I relate to based on all of these scenarios that have been playing out in my fantasy world. And then your heart is what will guide you. I don't know why I'm making this video, but I am, and maybe there's something important to be taken away from this. But you have to follow your heart. Your heart has to become your actual eyes. Your heart will always guide you on the journey exactly where you need to go. You don't know where tomorrow is going to take you. You don't know where you're going to be next year. You don't know how your life could be so balanced and harmonized and then flip onto the other side and become an absolute nightmare. You don't know how that absolute nightmare world could just flip the next day and become something extraordinary. You don't know. And that's part of being human. That is part of the joy of being human, is not knowing what is going to happen. So you literally are playing through everything as honestly as your soul can make of it, based on your biological form, which is human, which is really the equivalent of a goldfish in an infinite universe. We are not better than a goldfish. We are just different in how we comprehend things. So when you follow your heart, and I ask myself this sometimes, is what is the best choice that I could be making right now? And sometimes my feelings tell me, to feel a certain way about something, and that way is usually irritated, frustrated, angry, whatever it is. But then I have to stop, because those are the emotions that are not unconditional love. And when we let unconditional love be the motivating factor, be the answer to everything, it actually does create a better world that we live in. It really does. You have to let your heart tell you what it feels is the most loving choice that you could be making based on the situation. What is the most loving choice that you could be making for yourself, and then for the ones that you love, and then for, as far as you want to take it, for the world even, or for the universe, or for all the souls. I had a very odd moment today where in my imagination, which is far more real than you could possibly imagine, but I do this because I connect with the spirit world all the time, because I'm always trying to connect with the highest frequencies of unconditional love. I find that I heal myself often by stopping the humanness, by stopping the feelings, by stopping the experience of humanness, and literally allowing unconditional love to embrace me and fill me and re-energize me. And right now I'm at a point where I'm imagining, I like unconditional love being a purifying, healing flame of light. It is the most, fire is love, fire is affection, fire is the most extraordinary high frequency sexual love that there is. Fire is creation. Fire is so many things. And so spiritual fire is the most profound energy to me right now, and I love it. I love embracing, I love filling my body with fire energy, because It is my inspiration. It is a 4th of July firework that just drives me and pushes me further and pushes me to keep going and keeps me so inspired, you know? And love inspires us. Passion inspires us. You got to make every decision based on what that is. What is fire to you? What is passion? What is love? What is the most profound driving force that you've ever known? And you make that your push forward every single day. And so in my fantasy world, after I'd embraced healing flame and unconditional love and all of that, those feelings that just make me feel so alive, then I could step outside of my body and perceive the infinite universe. All of the souls in existence are all a reflection of all the colors of creation, literally. Every color of human being, every color of flower, every color of insect, every color of the stars, every color known by our eyes and unknown to our eyes is in existence in an infinite universe. In the spirit world and the physical world combined, melded as one. And so in this moment of joy, I could thank the infinite universe for everything that I have experienced in my life. Even the hardest times in our lives, we have to still find a way to be thankful for them. It is the hardest thing to tolerate, being thankful for the issues that drive us to so much misery. It is hard, but that is, the humanness wants us to feel the pain, feel the sorrow, feel the emotion of suffering. The humanness does. The spirit wants us to see the joy, see the unconditional love, see the learning experience, and to not let the emotions that are human take over the experience of understanding from a spiritual perspective with our spirit eyes that this is a loving experience that is taking place, that is teaching our soul how to become better than we were before. That is what the challenge does, is helps us learn to become better than we were before. So then in my fantasy world, and you should do this too, you should literally do this every single day, is fill yourself with the flame of unconditional love, the spark and the passion, the 4th of July fireworks, the inspiration that is so spiritual and so high frequency and so loving and so awesome. And you should do that, fill yourself with it, and once you feel full of it and full of the energy and it's just bringing you through the roof, then you should just say thank you to all souls in the infinite universe for where my soul is today. I thank all of you for everything you've been through, everything you've done to give me this beautiful moment that my soul gets to experience for you, the infinite universe today. I need the infinite universe, and the infinite universe needs me. We need everybody. We need each other. We do all of this for each other. We do it for ourselves. My soul is living this lifetime for you, and your soul is living this lifetime for me. And I'm so thankful for what you've been through for me. For me. And that is what we need to say to each other. That is a perspective. That is not being the goldfish, you see. That is being the spirit. That is being the infinite I, literally. An infinite I, a soul that has no eyeballs because it is an infinite I. And that is what we all need to be. That is what our perception needs to be. That is all I'm sharing in this video. Just something quick to help you perceive what is spirit, what is human, what is perception, what is unconditional love. What are ways that we can choose to perceive differently, and how can we make choices based on our heart, based on a heart that guides us through this thing and uses the pathway of unconditional love, which is the frequency that heals. It allows us to accept, it allows us to heal others, it allows us to feel balance and harmony, and allows us to feel inspired to change everything. To change and bring love and bring goodness and bring more, to make this world a more beautiful place, not just for the ones that we love, but for all of the human beings on this planet that are enduring the challenge of life here. So that is all I am sharing in this video, and I thank you for watching.